Hello, children. Welcome back. So, in my last class, I have discussed that finally the Velveteen Rabbit came to know that he is real and he was lamenting for the past days which he had spent with his very bosom friend, the boy. And then he was lying in the garden. He was remembering his past days. He was also thinking about, or he was missing the skin horse because skin horse was the first friend of him who told him that when he is going to be real, what type of feelings he is going to have regarding himself or regarding his past days. So he thought of the skin horse so wise and gentle, soft, wise, intelligent, and all that he had told him, of what use was it to be loved and lose one's beauty and become real if it all ended like this? And real tear, trickled down his little shabby velvet nose and fell into the ground. Till this point, yesterday I have finished. And then a strange thing happened, for where the tear had fallen, a flower grew out of the ground, a mysterious flower, not at all like any that grew in the garden. It had slender green leaves, the color of emeralds, and in the center of the leaves a blossom like a golden cup. It was so beautiful that the little rabbit forgot to cry and just lay there watching it. So, where the place where the drops, the droplets of his eye fell on, there grew a flower. It was a peculiar type of flower with a beautiful fragrance, and in the middle, a golden cup like thing was there. It's like this, here. Here is the flower, here is the rabbit. He has forgotten all his crying and everything, and he is looking at the flower very minutely. You see, this is the rabbit, this is the flower. See, his golden petals are there, and his eyes are so big. He's looking at it. Okay, he was just stunned. What's this? And presently the blossom opened, and out of there stepped a fairy. So the mysterious flower finally opened up, and a fairy, Puri, Pari, comes out from there. She was quite the loveliest fairy in whole the world. Her dress was of pearl and dewdrops, and there were flowers round her neck and in her hair, and her face was like the most perfect flower of all. And she came close to the little rabbit and gathered him up in her arms and kissed him on his velveteen nose that was all damp from crying. So what she did, she came out from the flower and she went close to the velveteen rabbit. She kissed her on his nose, pink nose, and then all the crying and all the sad feelings has flown away. Little rabbit, don't you know who am I? Don't you know who am I? The little rabbit looked up at her, and it seemed to him that he had seen her face before, but he could not think where. I am the nursery magic fairy. I take care of all the playthings that the children have loved. When they are old and worn out and the children don't need them anymore, then I come and take them away with me and turn them into real. So I'm that small little fairy who was lying in that nursery slab where you all play toys were there, and I always take care of those playthings who are actually the playmates of children, and when they are worn out, they are totally neglected. I pick them up from there and make them real, because shabbiness comes when you are used too much, or in other words, you can say when you become a part of somebody's life. Was not I real before? Said the little rabbit. You were real to the boy, and the fairy said, because he loved you. Now you shall be real to everyone. And she held the rabbit close in her arms and flew with him into the wood. Now, actually, when the rabbit was being dealt by the boy as a real thing, then he felt that I'm real. And that's why he argued with those two rabbits that yes, I'm real. I'm similarly like you. So Little Fairy said, definitely you are real from your mind, but not from your physical presentation. But now you are real for each and every one. Everybody is going to see that you are a real rabbit. And she held him up in her arms and flew away with him. It was light now, for the moon had risen. All the forest was beautiful, and the fronds of the bracken shone like frosted silver in the open glade between the tree trunks, and the wild rabbits danced with their shadows on the velvet grass. But when they saw the fairy, they all stopped dancing and stood around a ring to stare at her. Now, it's night time and the moon has risen, so it's a moonlit night, it's understood. And everything was very nice and very superb, very soothing to the eyes. All the leaves were shining and everything. And the fairy took the rabbit with her, and those two rabbits who had come to play with this velveteen rabbit when it was not real, they were dancing over the shadows. And but when they saw the fairy, they stopped dancing over there and they stared at her like anything. I have brought you a new playfellow. Playfellow means the person who comes and play with you. Playmates, you can say. The fairy said, you must be kind to him and teach him all he needs to know in Rabbitland, for he is going to live with you forever and ever. So now I have bought or brought a nice friend for you. Now he is going to be a part of your world, your Rabbitland. So please teach him the etiquettes and manners required over here. And she kissed the little rabbit again and put him down on the grass. Run and play, little rabbit, she said. Come on, you run and you play. You are real now. But the little rabbit sat quite still for a moment and never moved. For when he saw all the wild rabbits dancing around him, he suddenly remembered about his hind legs, and he did not want them to see that he was made all in one piece. He did not know that when the fairy kissed him, that last time she had changed him altogether. He might have sat there a long time, too shy to move, if just then something had tickled his nose, and before he thought what he was doing, he lifted his hind nose to scratch it. He did not want to move, though he was told by the fairy to bounce and jump, because he remembered those days when those real rabbit used to come and pinch him up by making a mockery of him that you are not having those hind legs. Now he don't want to show them that I was not a real rabbit, but now I am a real rabbit, and that is because of the fairy. But suddenly something tickled his nose, and he lifted his hand to scratch it off. And he found that he actually had hind legs. Instead of dingy velveteen, he had brown fur, soft and shiny. His ears twitched by themselves, and his whiskers were so long that they brushed the grass. He gave one leap, and the joy of using those hind legs was so great that he went springing about the turf of them, jumping sideways and whirling round as the others did, and he grew so excited that when at last he did stop to look for the fairy, she had gone. So, when he scratched his nose, he finally understood that some shock came over there that, no, oh, am I really real? Can I can I move? So if I can scratch my nose like that, that means I can move. I can bounce on my hind legs. They are present. They are no more fur now. They are real. And my body is filled up with brown, like, where is it written? Soft brown fur with shine, right? And when he finally realized that he is real now, he started to bounce on his hinge legs, which were being hidden till now. How was a real rabbit at last at home with the other rabbits? Autumn passed and the winter, and in the spring, when the days grew warm and sunny, the boy went out to play in the wood behind the house, and while he was playing, two rabbits crept out from the bracken and peeped at him. So the days goes on, and the velveteen rabbit had changed to the real rabbit. Now he's enjoying the life at the utmost level. Days goes on, time spent out, seasons went on, and again the summer season came, and the boy came out in the evening to play. And when he came out in the garden to play, two rabbits were peeping. Peeping, উঁকি মারছিল, উঁকি মেরে দেখছিল, কাকে দেখছিল, ছেলেটাকে দেখছিল. One of them was brown all over. This was the velveteen rabbit, who has become real now. Let's see whether the boy recognizes him or not. Let's see. One of them was brown all over, but the other had strange markings under his fur, as though long ago he had been spotted, and the spots still showed through. And about his little soft nose and his round black eyes there was something familiar, so that the boy thought to himself. So it's not that he did not recognize. He had looked to the rabbit and he thought that something is known to me. Something similar I am finding in him. But what's that? He was confused. Why? He looks just like my old bunny that was lost when I had scarlet fever. Oh, he is looking similarly like that bunny with whom I used to play a lot and who was lost after my scarlet fever. Those memorable days of mine when I had spent the golden moments with my bunny. I could not even move from one place to another without him. Though why this real rabbit is looking like that? There is some similarity, but he never knew that it really was his own bunny come back to look at the child who had first helped him to be real. Now, the rabbit had come, the last time the rabbit had come to fetch his playmate, who used to be one of his most bosom and close friend, who made him understand that what is the value of being real. How can a velveteen rabbit or a toy can become a real? What are the steps? How come you feel when you become real from a non-living thing? All these feelings were being put into the heart of the velveteen rabbit by this boy, this nice playmate, this nice friend, this bosom close friend of him. So the last time he has come to fetch him out to see whether he could recognize or not. He could recognize, but he could not believe that he is the bunny with whom he used to play. How is it possible for a person to believe that the thing, if suppose I'm having if my daughter is going to have a small teddy bear, now suddenly if a original bear comes in front of me on her, so is it possible for her to recognize it? Oh, this is that teddy bear of mine with whom I used to play. It's impossible because this is something mischievous. This is something really a miracle. So some miracle happens, and this miracle happens only because of the touch of love. So, my dear children, from this story, you can very easily understand that love is such a blessing of God that through love, you can make something real. You can bring life in something which doesn't have life in it. It's all about love, affection, care, your consciousness, your, what should I say, concern, your thoughtfulness, your kindness, and your bonding of love from the core of your heart, which can never be broken. I hope the lesson had been very interesting to you. I had really enjoyed a lot in teaching this lesson to you because it's a beautiful lesson. Um, Go through it nicely. In my next class, I'll be there with you discussing all the word meanings, question answers, exercise, and if you have any doubt in it. Stay healthy, be happy, and cheer as you are cheering now. Okay? Bye bye.